are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
That was an exciting game, but unfortunately, Auburn comes up just a little short.
The Auburn Express. You are now listening to the War Report Longtown Podcast. With your boy Ike Jones.
Your boy C-Dub filling in for Ike Jones. This is the Lobtown Podcast. Ike is at the game covering it. The final from Birmingham, Houston wins 73-72, and Auburn definitely had chances to win the game, but just couldn't get a good look at the basket. Credit to Houston for their scrappy defense, much to be expected of them. Just to go over a few stats here in the game, and we definitely want to get your reactions as well. By the way, while you're here, do us a favor, guys. Share this video. Smash that like button. Please subscribe if you have not done so to the channel. Final is, again, Houston 73, Auburn 72. Houston shot a little bit better than Auburn did from the field. 43%. Auburn was 39%. Three-point shooting, Auburn was just a little bit better percentage-wise. They hit the same number of three-pointers in this game. The story of this game, where I think this game was lost in many respects, was at the charity stripe. You got to credit Auburn, and I like the strategy that Auburn had in the second half. They just attacked and went downhill. They went downhill, drove contact, and really drew fouls from Houston, which resulted in two of their bigs fouling out towards the end of the game, which really helped Auburn's chances to get out a victory. But getting to the charity stripe, again, 21 of 33. They went to the line 33 times. Houston only went 12. So credit to Auburn for being able to get to the line. But again, I believe this is where the game was lost. If you only lost by 1 point and you went 21 of 23 for free throw shooting, that's the game in so many respects. And Sebastian Williams-Adams really struggled from the charity stripe, 3 of 8. Overton was 7 of 11. He missed some critical free throws. Some misses here and there from other guys, but to me, that was the story. Sebastian struggled from the line, and Auburn did as well. You got to hope that in the games ahead that Auburn works on its free throw shooting because you're going to need that in games like this. This is how you pull out some of those big games or upsets against some of the better teams in the country when you're able to knock down your free throw shooting. Let's go also to and look at some of the rebounding here. I'm gonna be joined by a few guys in a minute to give their thoughts on the game. I was impressed by Auburn's scrappiness and willingness to rebound. They got out rebounded by a total of 40-37. Pleased with what I saw with Auburn there. They were able to get to the ball and really make some of those hustle plays in this game. So very pleased to see. Very pleased with what we saw there. Another big storyline in this game, Keyshawn Hall went out with 4 minutes left in the game. You have to wonder what things would have been like if he was able to stay healthy. It was good to see him walk back onto the court and try to get back in the game, but he was just walking way too gingerly to get back in the game. But he finished as Auburn's leading scorer, 20 points, 6 of 16 to shooting, perfect from the charity stripe, 11 boards. He had a really solid game. Was almost on par with his average until he went out of the game with an injury. Tahad Pettiford, who had been struggling, had the ball at the end of the game with the opportunity to really take the lead and win the game. 15 points, 5 of 14 shooting, 3 of 8 from the field, 2 from 3 from the charity stripe. A good bounce back game from him, but again, Auburn falls short in this matchup. So disappointed to see that. Kingston Flemings of Houston, the young kid was special. He was able to get his from anywhere on the court. The mid range was just deadly, and I think his major first half was really what put them in the driver's seat for the rest of the game. He positioned them really well. Didn't really do a whole lot in the second half. The rest of his teammates took it from there, but he was clearly a force to be reckoned with. And that was one of the things that I was concerned about beginning of this game when we did the pregame was how will Auburn defend Houston's backcourt, with Kingston Flemings being one of the guys that you had to be concerned about. He went off tonight, and Auburn suffered for it. I'm joined here by Mike G, joining me. Mike, you saw the game. Instant thoughts. I mean, again, Auburn's first major test, and they responded well, had an opportunity to close it out, but fell short. Your thoughts?
It was good to see Todd Pettiford have a little bit of a bounce back game for him. He has not played well the last few games, and so he got in there, made some big buckets. Keyshawn Hall, we hope he's okay. He got what looked like a pretty serious injury there at the end. 6 of 16. Auburn missing him down the stretch there. Look, this was the number one team in the country, and this was a hard-fought game. These two teams are familiar with each other. They faced off a surprising amount of times in the last few years. But look, man, I think Stephen Pearl has this team in a really good position to make a run in March. So if this is any indication, if this is the worst they're going to be, then this is really going to I think they've got a good foundation to build on. I'm not seeing it with Jovic just yet.
No, he seems lost. He seems like in a game like this, he seemed really lost.
Yeah, I wonder, in a game that you lost by 1 point, right? Like critical minutes he played that just did not seem particularly effective. Now, he didn't take a shot in this game, right? He had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, but he had 2 turnovers.
Yeah,
no points, no shots, and 2 turnovers is a tough look for him. Yeah, so they've got something. You got to remember, this is a brand new team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't the team that made a run at a Final Four last year. This is Todd Pettiford and a bunch of new guys. So I think it was a good barometer for where the team is at. And look, you took the number 1 team in the country on a neutral site down to the wire here. Probably could have called the foul there at the end. Caesar, I'm sick of Auburn not getting it. It doesn't matter what the sport it seems it is. Auburn's just not going to get a close call when there's a close call to be had. But Stephen Pearl losing his mind there at the end because they did not get the foul there. I thought that they maybe would have gotten a different look with a catch and shoot situation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Listen, in one of those possessions where they were trying to get it to Tahad, there were some guys actually running to the basket open for a split second. But again, the play was designed for Tahad, and Houston knew it, right? I think everybody knew who was getting the ball, and so they converged on him. And again, credit to Houston for a hard-fought game at the end. I'm about to bring in Dustin from the Up-Tempo. Dustin, let me know if you're ready, good sir. I'll bring you in. Dustin joining us here, sir. Your initial thoughts about the game. Auburn falls short against the number 1 team in college basketball. Your initial reaction.
This is the beautiful thing about college basketball. You can come away from a close loss encouraged. At least at this point in the season, right?
Are we close?
Are we close, Dustin?
Well, here's what I will say. There's no excuse for Division I college basketball players to shoot free throws the way Auburn did versus Bethune-Cookman and the way they did today versus Houston.
Yeah.
I can't. New team, new coach, all that aside, hey, nobody's in your face when you're at the free throw stripe. You got to knock those down. You lost the game by 1 possession, where if you just would have made a couple more, that doesn't happen. And you wouldn't have went to overtime versus Bethune-Cookman if you would have made the free throws that you were supposed to make. But look, man, we all know the deal. Todd Pettiford is the only returning player from this team. You have a head coach that literally got named head coach the first day of practice. You talked about Jovic. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of play these guys and figure out what you got. I think Stephen's still figuring out his rotations. He's still figuring out who plays well with who and who quite doesn't have it yet. And then in terms of Jovic in particular, I think you've seen in teams like first Bethune-Cookman and today, these more athletic teams, it's a little bit too much for him right now. The other 2 teams that we played, Merrimack and whoever the last one were, he kind of he could hang with them from like a speed perspective. But when there's a little bit of step up in athleticism, it appears to be too quick for him. But look, Freeman, that kid, if Auburn's going to make a tournament run this year and have a successful season, Elijah Freeman is going to be a big part of that. One thing that has kind of plagued Auburn in recent years is depth at guard. I'm encouraged because I know that Todd Pettiford's going to get it going. And then I think that Overton is kind of provides something that maybe Auburn hasn't had at that spot. There's going to be times in games late in March when Todd Pettiford is in foul trouble, or maybe he's not playing well, and you can bring in Overton. And I think he's a solid enough player that you can count on him to carry water for you in those minutes. Auburn has not had that from the backup guard position over the past 2 or 3 years. So that's a big plus. So all in all, man, I think this team's going to get better. I think you're encouraged. I think Murphy is a solid player that's going to be a contributing piece that's still got to get his legs up underneath him. Let Steven get these rotations worked out. Let these guys kind of get used to playing together. This loss, again, this isn't football. This is a good I feel my skin crawls even saying this. It's a good loss. It's a good loss. You want to win it, but, man, if you win the games that you need to win down the stretch, enough of them, this will look fine on the resume. So all in all, man, in terms of looking at this and projecting forward, I'm encouraged by what we saw today. I think the team is going to get a lot better, and if they're going to get a lot better from this point, that's a good sign.
You mentioned Elijah Freeman. I'm about to take a page out of Zach's book. Did you know he did not have any Division I offers coming out of high school? They said it every time he got the ball, it seems. He had the dunk of the game, obviously. Big play by him. Mike, you about to say something? Go ahead.
Look, it's 12 missed free throws. Is good. You're going to look back on this one and just think, God, we win this game by maybe 7 or 8 if we could just hit free throws here. Williams Adams was only 3 of 8 from the free throw line there. Keyshawn Hall hit all 8 of his free throws, but you had Overton who went 7 of 11 from the free throw line as well too, and you'd like to see him hit a couple more there. So look, there were opportunities here, and Stephen Pearl, after a blowout win by Auburn, said, "We're going to get this fixed. We're going to get this fixed, and we're not going to sit here and tell you to be, that we're close or to be patient. We're going to get this fixed now." And you've got the talent. This is a very, very talented basketball team, but man, like I said, a 1-point loss on a neutral site to the number 1 team in the country. Here, I'm not down about this one. I'm with Dustin. I'm encouraged by guard play. I think that we saw some flashes. I expect them to get better as the season goes along. I don't think we've seen the best of Auburn basketball.
I agree. And I think it's encouraging to see these guys get downhill and draw contact, draw fouls, and be able to get to the line. That's a sign of a team that if they're in a close game, they're going to be there. So they're going to figure out ways to keep. If they're not shooting well, like tonight from the field, they know how to get to the charity stripe and make it a game there. But again, can't miss 12 free throws in a game where you lose by 1, right? So again, that's something that they're going to definitely clean up. Let's get to some of you guys' comments. You definitely are been commenting. We appreciate you being here with us. Stephen Neely here says this team is going to be fun to watch down the stretch. Got to work on free throws though.
Yeah,
agreed with that statement.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like the dichotomy of our attitude between sports. Auburn loses a close game, and we're just like, "Oh, the seasons are going to be awesome," and then you know about the other side.
Well, to be fair, when Auburn lost close in football the first time, you still had a little bit of optimism, but like 4 losses later, you don't have that same optimism anymore, right? And again, basketball, you're giving a lot more grace because you're playing a lot more ball, right?
Indeed.
So yeah, we hope some of these close games do turn into wins as Auburn improves. Aiden for AU says to miss 12 free throws and to lose by 1 is the most Auburn thing ever. Can't wait for the rest of the year. We have some dudes. Auburn does have some dudes. You was wondering how, and I'll ask you guys to kind of speak on this, your thoughts about how things are starting to round into shape for some of the guys that Auburn has brought here. Again, to your point, Mike, it only returns to Hod Pettiford. So you're wondering in a game like this, will the cream rise to the top and who will step up and actually be that dude and that guy for Auburn?
Yeah, Keyshawn Hall. Again, I covered him all last season at UCF. He was the Big 12's leading scorer. Look, man, he might end up being the SEC's leading scorer when it's all said and done. He is absolutely critical to this team at this juncture, right? Tahad's going to be streaky. He's going to be streaky. And, I like what they said during the broadcast. Like, you have to be willing to let him take some of those tough shots and shoot himself out of the slump. That's what comes with a player like that. But they've got trust in him here. That's why Keyshawn Hall probably the best offseason pickup in college basketball.
Agreed. Dustin, thoughts, man?
So I'm looking here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 6 guys that played double-digit minutes. Jovic played 9. That's a little bit different than what we've seen in past years. We know that Bruce Pearl liked to play a lot of guys. The bench would get a little bit shorter as the season went on. But this early, only having that many guys play double-digit minutes, I'm looking at Jovic. I'm looking at somebody like Caden Magwood. There's a couple more guys that need to step up. I think some people are finding their game. Keyshawn Hall has obviously played a lot of college basketball. His ability, and I agree with what you said, C. A lot of times, especially in college, if you're down 4 or 5 points, it feels like these kids want to get it back in one possession and they start settling for bad shots. Auburn decided we're going to go downhill and we'll just attack the basket. And again, you missed 12 free throws. So a lot of the benefits of that, you didn't capitalize on them. But like in terms of just like mindset, I love that. I love that a lot more than shooting a fadeaway shot from 27 feet. So I like that. I like the attitude of the team. I thought that their defensive performance opening night was one of the worst ones we've seen at Auburn in a long time. And it was an effort to me. It was communication that has improved game by game by game. So I think they're doing a good job of that as well. And, the last possession there that Houston had that gave Auburn a shot to even have an opportunity to win the game. That was incredible. Lockdown defense. You love to see that from Auburn. Hey, we got to get a stop. For 10 years plus, you were able to depend on that under Bruce Pearl. Nice to see that, like father, like son, when it comes to that. So you got some guys that are definitely finding their role. I think that Sebastian Williams-Adams there's going to be some up and downs because he played 26 minutes as a true freshman. But I think that by the end of the season, that kid has a lot of talent. He's going to be a great player and a great contributor. But again, a guy like Jovic, a guy like Magwood, maybe Bashir, there's got to be a couple more guys. Opurum played 0 minutes. So obviously Stephen, but I thought he played well the last 2 games. But obviously Stephen didn't feel comfortable playing him versus an opponent of this caliber. Can he get to a level to where Stephen does feel comfortable doing that, and he can give you 6, 7 to 8 minutes off the bench? So I like that this team is finding itself. I like that it's finding its identity and that it's finding its role. There needs to be a couple more guys, in my opinion, that can at least be serviceable. Jovic doesn't have to come out and be all SEC or kill it, but he's got to be serviceable off the bench. Same thing with Magwood. And there's some potential there in those guys. I think they can reach it.
I asked Stephen Pearl about the balance of minutes, after a game already, where it just seemed like it was really heavy on those starters here, and they're working their way toward, balancing it out a little bit more. But, certainly they've got the talent. Yeah, I would be interested. I know Ike is at the game covering for us live. I'd be interested to see what he had to say about the roster, the roster management in this one.
I think also, too, when you have guys coming back, that you trust already, like in years past when you had Janai Broom and you had those guys, the Dylan Cardwells and those guys, you can work on building depth around the pieces that are already proven. And I think with a team like Auburn, you don't really have anyone outside of Tahad who is proven per se. So there's a lot more guys that you're trying to get caught up to speed. And I think it's difficult to have those types of rotations. We were kind of spoiled over the past year or so with the amount of talent that was proven on this roster that we knew was either going to go pro at some point. So I think that was a blessing. But again, this is kind of like a rebuild for Auburn in a sense, because there's a lot of new faces. So it's difficult to have those deep rotations that we were used to or grown accustomed to over the past year or so. So I'm curious to see what depth, to your point, Dustin, Auburn begins to develop as guys begin to improve and step up. Let's get to some more of your comments. NH3425 says, this team is physical, is not intimidated, and has grit, but free throws will be this team's weakness. Not mad at that loss, though. All right. Aiden for AU says, to miss free throw. I think we already covered that one there. He may have either chatted it again. Let's see. Robert here says poor free throw shooting will never win national championships. Auburn has not learned this fact. Do better, or damn Eagle. Again, you hope this is something that Auburn improves on as they go through in the year. And there was some guys who really struggled more than others. Because again, depending on who's shooting it, Keyshawn Hall was money from the charity stripe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Overton and Williams Adams were 9 of the 12 missed.
Yeah.
right.
So it's really Overton I'm looking at, where you got a lot. You got to knock down a couple more of those, buddy. Right? Like Williams Adams, I get it. Right? Like some guys are just not great free throw shooters. But man, I really would like to see Overton hit 9 of his 11. It could have won him the game today.
He got fouled on that 3-pointer, and then he goes 1 for 3, and then we give up a
Yeah.
wide open 3 in the corner. So
right there.
it's literally a 10-second switch where you go 1 for 3 on it, and then you give up a 3 in the corner. It's like, oh man, that's a big swing in a close game. Kind of felt like that one might have been a crucial moment.
Right. Let's see here. NH 3425 says Mike G asked Stephen Pearl if they practice free throws, please.
Yeah, Ike's there now. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to ask something around the free throw shooting.
Indeed. Thomas Porterfield says it feels good to be disappointed by the loss and expect to win these games. Auburn basketball has come a long way.
How about Bruce in the crowd, man? Just going nuts on him.
Yeah.
It was good to see him out there.
For sure. Who dat says I feel like free throws are a problem every year. It seems it does seem that way.
It's always magnified in games like this.
Yeah.
Right. It feels bigger in games like this. But they have not. Go back and look. They've not shot free throws particularly well all seasons to date. So I wonder again. This is going to have to. You got to get the right guys to the line here. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them in conference play.
Agreed. Jay says encouraged, but can't help but wonder: does Houston deserve to be number one? How long is Hall out? Obviously, that remains to be seen about Hall, but I was encouraged by his willingness to come back on the bench and try to give it a go. He's probably going to be out maybe a week or so, I would imagine. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. As for Houston will be fine. Houston will be fine. They have an amazing coaching staff, and Houston. Last year, when Auburn played Houston in that game, clearly they got better because they advanced to the national championship game, right? They were definitely one of the favorites in college basketball, and they stayed the course. I think they'll be fine given who they're coaching, who their head coach is. Stephen Neely here says to take the number one team to the wire during a Sunday marquee matchup. Hopefully the recruits are watching. Auburn is still an elite destination. Speak on this, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what Bruce Pearl built. I don't think he wouldn't have handed it off to Stephen if he wasn't confident that Stephen could do the job. And now we're going to find out if he's up to the task. But yeah, I mean, Stephen recruited a lot of these guys that are on the team now. A lot of the big names for Auburn over the past 5 years wouldn't have been at Auburn if it wasn't for Stephen Pearl. So he was already involved in the recruiting end, or in the recruiting aspect of this. Now Auburn being the Nike school, when throughout the large portion of Bruce's success, Under Armour school, that doesn't have much of an effect in like football and baseball, but it does have an effect in basketball. So let's kind of get a couple years into that and see that take effect. So yeah, Auburn nothing's changed. And I get I said before the season, I said, I'm not giving a preseason prediction because I don't know. It's a new players, new coach. I have no idea. I'm just going to watch and pull for him. Yeah, very, very encouraging. I mean, if we would have came out today and got ran off the court by 16, 18 points, everybody would have been kind of saying, whoa, okay, what was that? Yeah, it felt like today, like Auburn is still a marquee place to come play basketball. It still feels like Auburn's one of the top programs in the country. It feels like there's no fall off at all. So yeah, very, very encouraging again.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I really wanted this one for Stephen because I want him to be able to separate his legacy from his dad's pretty quickly here. And man, beating number one Houston at a neutral site feels like a game that over the years, like Auburn, I mean, had a legendary non-conference run last year.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty legendary non-conference run last year. It would have been nice for Stephen to get this one to just kind of say, hey, look, man, we while I'm the coach, we're going to win the big ones.
Yeah. Let's see here. So we got any more comments here?
Yeah, I see y'all going in on Jovic. Like, I'm not seeing. I don't mean to be down with that young man. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I don't wonder if it's mental. Is he having trouble adjusting to Auburn? I have questions about the amount of time they're giving him versus the level of play we're seeing.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be an adjustment for him, especially when you get to Dustin's point, when you get into matchups like this. What I'm praying and hoping, Mike, is that he's not this year's JP Pegues, right? In a sense to where you're waiting for him to catch up and it just never seems to happen and his minutes reduce. That's what I hope does not happen for this young man. But obviously, this is a major adjustment for him, and it shows in games like this. Again, like I said, he looked lost today. And the game looked like it was way too quick for him. But you hope that things slow down for him and he's able to settle in and really adjust to what he's seeing out there. As Auburn begins to, and we're not going to stay around on too long, but again, Auburn has a very challenging was out of conference schedule. Auburn has Jackson State later this week. They play Oregon on the 24th, and then they play Michigan, the number 6 team in the country. Like, Auburn has some games coming back to back to back. What do you think Auburn takes from this game going into some of those matchups? Obviously, you're going to need your best scorer, Keyshawn Hall, back at 100% to be able to go head to head in those games. But what does Auburn take from this matchup against the number 1 team in Houston tonight, guys?
You've got to figure out, like, who is the guy down the stretch. Whose hands are you putting the ball in when you need a shot? I think a lot of people assume it's Tahad, right? Like, with Keyshawn Hall maybe out there at the end, they decided to run something different with only a second left on the clock here. But I want to know who the guy is. Yeah. I want to know who the guy. Florida knew who their guy was last year. He was damn near unstoppable. Yeah. Come tournament time, you need your guy. Put the ball in his hands and just let him go to work.
Do you think Auburn may have found that guy?
Look, I think when he's healthy, it's Keyshawn Hall. I'm putting the ball in Keyshawn Hall's hands. A lot of people would argue maybe Tahad. Either or, 1A, 1B for me. Yeah. Here, like, let's not overthink it, and let's not outcoach ourselves in those moments. Get the ball to one of those two guys and just live or die with the result. Yeah, that's how I feel. And if you got something creative to draw up that might get to the win, I'm not opposed to it here. But boy, man, I'm telling you, I think Keyshawn Hall was just the offseason pickup of all of college basketball. I told people he would be good. UCF fans were really, really bitter about him leaving. And he said it. He feels like he's in a place where he trusts his teammates and he trusts the guys around him and he trusts what they're doing. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. You just played the number 1 team. Let's just assume these rankings hold. But you'll be playing number 6 Michigan, number 5 Arizona at Arizona, beginning of December, and number 2 Purdue late in the month of December. You will have played, again, if these two teams, if all these teams hold, you will have played 4 top 10 teams before SEC conference play begins. Again, Dustin, what are some things you look to see in this team as it begins to improve and ascend and buy into what Coach Stephen Pearl is preaching?
I think that ever since the opening night versus Bethune-Cookman, I think the last 3 games, I've seen a very physical basketball team, defensively and on the offensive side of the ball, going down there and, just attacking the basket when they need to. So let that be your identity moving forward, because that's an identity that's going to carry you in SEC play anyway. It's the most physical league in the country, in my opinion. The Big 12's up there too, but you know how they get down in the SEC, man. So I think that this team is a physical basketball team, a little bit undersized. But when you play with the toughness that they played with the last 3 games, especially on the defensive end, you can make up for that. On the rebounding tonight, I mean, Houston out-rebounded Auburn by 4, I think. I'm going to pull the box score off my screen. But, I mean, you were right there with them. You were right there with them with a team that's 3. Okay, so, yeah, like if you give that kind of effort on the glass, you'll be okay. So, a lot like Auburn teams that we've seen over the past decade. If I can hang my hat on defense and know that I'm going to get good effort and good energy and execution on the defensive side of the court, we can find the points. We'll be in every basketball game. So yeah, we just, again, everyone's kind of finding their roles. I think this next game versus who, I know it's not a big opponent, Jackson State. So you got Jackson State, then it's Oregon, Michigan, NC State, and Arizona. So it's about to get real. What I want to see Wednesday night versus Jackson State is I want to see Tahad get going. I want to see Tahad get going, feeling good about himself when Auburn goes into this tough stretch of non-conference games here, and maybe one or two more than bench guys kind of find their role off that bench and able to contribute to this team. But I think this Auburn team is headed in the good direction. And in the same way, guys, that we talk about the team finding itself, these players finding themselves and getting better as it goes on. Stephen Pearl, same thing. He's learning on the job. It's his first year doing it, so I expect him to improve and get better as the season goes on as well. And I'm excited to see it, man. This is this era in college sports has affected every sport differently. And in basketball, what you really have had, what I've noticed across the country, is a lot of teams that got 8, 9, 10 new guys. Like you're really kind of on the spot having to rebuild a team every year.
Yeah.
And you're going to find out just how good some of these coaches are. And Stephen Pearl got a tough task right out the gate, filling the shoes of a legend. Just so happens to be a guy that he grew up, that he knows very well. And then on top of that, like just the task, like this was going to be a hard year for Bruce Pearl. A whole bunch of new guys and everything else. So this being your first year with this tough non-conference schedule in the toughest league in the country, there's a lot on the shoulders of Stephen Pearl to kind of keep this program up. And from what I've seen so far, it's only a 4-game sample size, but I'm encouraged. And I think that he has the mindset that it takes. And that's the thing that we've seen it on the football side, right? We talked about how in the world does when Auburn is on offense versus on defense, they look like two different football teams, because the guys that were in charge of the offense and the defense were guys that had two completely different mindsets. And we know that teams reflect the mindset of the guy in charge. Stephen Pearl's a dog, and you're seeing this team, that last possession. Ultimately, we weren't able to get the bucket. We weren't able to come out on top, but you had to get a stop. And Tahad locked that guy up at the top of the key, and there was nobody else. They shut down the backdoor cuts. They shut down everything that Houston tried to do on that play. This team has a dog mentality. They're going to win big games, and I think you're looking at another season where if everything goes right and guys stay healthy, or Auburn's dancing.
Yeah, look, they're gonna. I think they're gonna make a run. I got a chance. I got my off-season sit down with Stephen Pearl, and I've sat down with him about, I think, 3 or 4 times one-on-one. This was the first time as Auburn's head coach, and he just gets it, right? Yeah. He's going to be a really, really good coach. All the people out there screaming "Nepo baby" and all that stuff, you're going to eat those words. You're going to eat those words come March, because he's got this team. He's got the energy that Auburn basketball needs right now, but he's hungry. He's really, really hungry. And for everybody out there calling him a Nepo baby, he's oddly hungry for somebody who just had it handed to him. He worked his ass off to be in a position for John Cohen to be able to even put him in this position. And if you don't think that matters, what you're going to see is a team in the March that's going to reflect that same grit and energy and hunger and want to get to the next level. We need that in Auburn sports right now. So I thought this game again. The Bammers they're gonna find this, and they're gonna be like, "Here you go, you Barners, with your moral victories."
Well, they don't understand basketball anymore.
Yeah. The great part about, I think that Dustin said earlier that I think that's really true, is the great part about college basketball is, after one loss, it doesn't feel like it's the end of the world, unless that loss is in the NCAA tournament. It is literally
the end of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything before that, man, if you've got a solid team, this is a tournament team. And I don't know, man. I mean, top to bottom, how do you guys think this stacks up to last year's team? You don't lose Janai Broome and get better necessarily, but it's going to be different. I think it's going to be a different kind of team with Keyshawn Hall and Overton, man. Whew. I think that guy's he's going to be Mr. March Madness. when you need a big shot, I'm telling you, Overton's going to be there. This is going to be a really, really fun team to watch here. So we're in for a hell of a ride over the next couple weeks in Auburn sports. Caesar, you mentioned the non-conference schedule. You got number 6 Michigan coming to the Plains. You're at number 5 Arizona, and you got number 2 Purdue, and you got Oregon. That's going to be fun. And gone over to the football field on the other side, you've got an Iron Bowl that I promise you is going to be one of the craziest games you've ever watched.
Yeah.
That's going to be with Auburn having a chance to knock Alabama out of the playoffs and get to a bowl game in a year where they fired their coach. Come on, man. This is going to be fun. We're gonna bring
Ike on real quick. He's gonna give some comments from the game. Dustin, tell people where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, man. Come over to the Uptempo podcast. Subscribe. We are knocking on the door of 3,000 subs. We want to definitely make it happen by December 1st. So go over there and do that if you haven't. Didn't do a live show this morning. Had to go to church. My little sister, she sang beautifully. She wanted Big Brother to come, so I did that. So we had no live show this morning, but we'll go live tomorrow. So we will go live tomorrow. DJ Dirk will have his press conference. We'll go live tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Time, reacting to what DJ said. Mike, try to find out, what are we doing at quarterback this week? Is Deuce going to be the guy? And so hopefully Mike will get some good answers for us on that. We'll react to that tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time, right over on the Uptempo podcast. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
And with that, the brother of the year has just been locked up with Dustin's actions and deeds this morning. Thanks to you, sir. And we will see you soon, buddy. Thanks for jumping on, man. Going to bring Ike on as soon as he's ready, Mike. I'm going to grab some comments from you guys. Jamal Pye says, when Murphy gets that brace off, we might not lose a game. He was a little limited. There was questions on whether or not he was going to be able to play in this game, but he started and was able to play. But yes, once he gets healthy, up to 100%, things could be different. Again, that's another threat for you because, again, he's been pretty automatic down in the paint, Mike, and that's an area where where Auburn needs some production. Obviously, you got guys who can get to the bucket, get to the cup, and get points, as well as shooting. But having a presence down there is going to be important.
Yeah, Auburn with 30 points in the paint tonight, which is not bad. Houston had 34 points in the paint. As well, too. So both teams kind of banging down low there. In Auburn with some big offensive rebounds at times in this one as well, too. There were a couple of calls there that I didn't like from the refs. I mean, they've got to shoot better from the field. 39% from the field was a little disappointing there, but there's room for improvement on this team.
We're going to bring Ike on. I believe he is ready. Ike, if you can.
I don't see his picture.
Don't see your picture though. I'll make sure you know. We'll. I think he's on. Ike, we don't see your picture, so I don't know if you're good. Can you hear us? Don't think we can hear you, Ike.
All right, let's take him out. So
yeah,
figure it out.
Grab another comment here in the meantime. NH3425 says, if I'm an opponent, I welcome AU to the free throw line. I think Pearl has found his rotations. Now find your go-to guy. Fix the free throws, and AU will be back on track.
Yeah, like is this who they are from the free throw line, or was this kind of like an anomalous kind of game where, again, Williams Adams took 8 free throws in this one and went 3 for 8. So 5 of your 12 were missed by him. And then Overton, again, is that more of an anomaly? Yeah, again, we need more data to see how he's going to do down the stretch here. But 7 of 11.
He was slightly better, but again, critical misses and down the stretch of the game that could have really turned the tide of this game for Auburn.
Yeah, going 1 of 3 after getting fouled on a 3, brutal.
Yeah. Let's see here. If Ike can't jump, but you had a comment you was about to make earlier, Mike. I don't know if you remember what you was going to say.
Yeah, look, I mean, Tahad Pettiford, I mean, again, 5 of 14 from the field today. He hit 3 really, really big threes in this one. Auburn needs him to wake up. And the announcer said this during the game. He said, you're going to go as Tahad goes. If you're going to make a run, you need him to be tournament Tahad. come March. So yeah, there are a lot of people worried. I see all over social media. People are like, "Man, Tahad's going to get going, right? Like, are we okay with Tahad? Like, is he okay? What's going on here? He's going to get going."
I thought they made a really good point, and as Ike joined us, I thought they made a really good point. I think Tahad didn't have a lot of pressure on him to be the guy because you had Janai Broom last year, so he was kind of a deadly killer when people were focused on Janai. Right? Again, he had ice water in his veins at times, Mike, in big games. I think he's adjusting to teams knowing who he is now.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's no more Janai. We know who that other guy is. And so I think this is kind of a new reality for him, Mike, to where you don't have to hide behind some of the big giants that were here when you got here. You are the big giant. And so now handling that role with a whole bunch of other guys is a bit of an adjustment for him. But I think he'll figure that out, as well as his role in his team, too. Again, he was kind of playing out of position. He was, being asked to be more of a point guard, facilitator, coming off the bench. And I think now he has a lot more liberty to kind of figure out where he fits in this new team. And so I think as time goes on, he'll figure that out.
Yeah. I think we're ready for right now.
All right, Ike, we're bringing you on, sir.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right,
we can
cool.
see you as well. Well,
Yeah.
thoughts.
So first and foremost, we just got out of the press conference with Stephen Pearl, and Stephen is a lot more feisty than his dad is in press conferences. Let me say that first and foremost. He started off with the statements, and we'll hear this when we put it up on the channel. He's like, "I don't want to hear about moral victories. Moral victories are for losers." So he was like, "Don't come in here asking me how I felt about us being close to the number one team in the country. I thought we were going to win the game. I expected us to win the game. We didn't win the game. So don't ask me how I felt. It sucked." I was like, okay.
All right.
So yeah, he was straight to the point with it. This team fully expected to come in here and get a win today, not to compete, not to make it close. They thought they were going to win the basketball game. He said he thought that they were the better basketball team coming into the game, and they just needed to go out there and prove it. But listen, he acknowledged all of the things that everybody saw, which is a couple of defensive possessions. You came out in the second half lackadaisical. Houston got some easy buckets, and then you missed free throws. He's like, if we hit 6 of the missed free throws that we had that we should have made, you walk out of here with a win. So we're just going to go and get back to work tomorrow and get ready for Jackson State. But he's like, he doesn't want to hear the moral victory. We got close stuff.
Ike, how encouraged were you? Again, there was a question about Murphy, if he was going to be able to give it a go. Again, Hall goes out with 4 minutes left in the game. You kind of wonder what this game could have been like if you had some of these guys. How encouraged were you as Auburn goes through the teeth of its non-conference schedule, which is a tough non-conference schedule, seeing what you saw today?
Definitely encouraged. I mean, there's definitely room for growth, and I think that's a good thing. You took the number one team currently in the country, 1 point loss, and you still feel like you can get better, right? Like, it's not like, oh man, we played the best game we possibly could and came up short. No, we have plenty of ways that we can get better, and we came up short. So that's the encouragement there. I guess the discouragement is you got to see them win one of those, right? If you recall, a couple of years ago, the Auburn team that was blowing everybody out, but couldn't win any close ones, right? Like, we don't want to see that team that can't close the deal at the end of games. But you feel good that they are in a situation where they can go out and win a game potentially of this caliber. They just have to kind of learn how to do that, figure out how to finish.
Yeah, with Tahad finally got things going, and we kind of expected him to get things going there. He kind of struggled from the field percentage wise, started to hit some shots and started to get it. Like, how good was it for him to see that the ball go down and shots begin to start falling for him?
Yeah, he talked about that. He was there in the post-game press conference, and he was saying, he recognizes he was struggling with it. It was good too. I think Tahad's just a moment guy, right? Like, I almost feel like he wasn't locked in because the opponents weren't. He was just like, all right, well, we're going to win this game anyway. But he knew he needed to be locked in for this game, and he came out ready. And I think it's just one of those guys, he embraces the moment to be able to step up and make big plays in big moments. So yeah, I mean, and this team is going to need him to be able to do that so that teams can't just focus on Sean Hall.
Did Stephen Pearl talk about that closing sequence there? Obviously, they felt like there could have been a foul called there. It wasn't called. Auburn lost. But what were they seeing there in that play that they ran?
Yeah, so he talked about actually all of the ending sequences. He feels like that Auburn did exactly what they were coached to do. Tahad got downhill. He played off of 2 feet, closed the distance between the shot blocker, went up, and he got the contact necessary. And then they got what they wanted out of the final shot out of Murphy as well. They got a shot on the basket with 1 second left, with Murphy getting an opportunity there at the end. So it feels like they executed all the things that they were asked to do. They just didn't get it to go down there at the end.
Yeah. Any thoughts about from a depth standpoint? Obviously, you saw guys who were able to contribute. Magwood played a little bit, hit a big time 3, but thoughts about how some of the younger guys who are learning to play in these big games, how much they'll be needed as Auburn progresses through their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, really, you got, when you're talking about young players embracing the moment, you got to start with Elijah Freeman. I feel like he did well on both ends of the floor. Make some big shots. He was playing tough down in the paint, getting some tough rebounds. Defending well for the vast majority of the game. So love what you saw out of him. Sebastian Williams-Adams giving you the effort he always gives you, but of course you're going to look at the missed free throws from him and say, hey, if you can make a couple of more of those, Auburn walks away with the win. But still giving you good effort and good energy throughout the entirety of the time that he was out there. I told everybody when we were doing one of the live towns, I was going to reverse course on what I did last season, which is make excuses for guys and say they'll get it going. And I'm going to be hard on guys from the very beginning, pause. But Philip Jovic, man, let me see less minutes from him, bro. Like, I get Oporum's undersized, but I would take his ability to control shots at the rim above a guy who is kind of fumbling all over the place out there. Love his energy, but he's got to be able to be better than what he was tonight.
Yeah. I appreciate you covering it with us, man. We will definitely catch you during the week. You're definitely going to be here for the midweek report as we get ready to switch sports and talk about Auburn versus Mercer. We'll definitely hear more of your takes then, but appreciate you covering it live at the game. We will see you soon, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's Ike Jones. Mike, any closing thoughts, man, before we get out of here, man?
Oh, man, look, yeah, they got to figure something out with Jovic there. I mean, he's going to be a liability, I think, in conference play if they can't get him going there. But this was, I like what Ike said. Stephen Pearl's attitude is no moral victories. Moral victories are for losers. Apparently, I'm going to see if I can if Auburn pulls the whole press conference here, the pull here, we'll put it up on the channel. We'll clip it for social media. But look, man, they want to win. You inherited a winning program if you're Stephen Pearl. So, and then they gave you the resources to go out and build a winning roster. And then when Bruce decided he was going to retire, all those guys stuck around.
Yeah.
So there won't be a lot of stomach for this team losing, but certainly this was not a result that we didn't see under Bruce. So if anything, like I said, they were in it at the end. It just looked like a well-coached basketball team that just needs to get better at a few things, fine-tune a few things headed into conference play. That's what I saw tonight. So, guys will emerge, roles will be defined. You'll figure things out as you work through the non-conference. And the good thing for Auburn basketball is the things that you work out in the non-conference you can trust because of who you're playing. You got to play Michigan. You got to go to Arizona, right? Yeah. You got to play Purdue. If they can win, if they can split those ranked matchups, so you lost to number 1 Houston, but again, you've got number 6 Michigan, number 5 Arizona, and number 2 Purdue. That's 4 top 6 games in your non-conference. Auburn just needs to win 2 of them.
Yeah,
they need to win 2 of them. And you know what? When it comes down to it, protect home court. Beat Oregon when they come to your house. Beat Michigan when they come to your house. Beat Purdue when they come to your house. Right. And they'll be in prime position heading into the non-conference.
And again, you'll learn a lot more about this team and who you can count on as you get into the meat of your schedule. SEC in conference is going to be a grind, Mike. So the victories that you can get early on, the confidence that you can build going into the conference schedule is going to be very important for this team. Mike, give people instructions because we got a lot of people watching live from other platforms. Guide them all here to YouTube. Tell them how they can get to us, sir.
You guys know the deal. 1,500 of you live here with us. Do us a favor, join as a member on YouTube. You got to come on over to YouTube. If you're on Twitter right now, hit subscribe, hit like. YouTube has a new feature called Hype. Hit that hype button for us. Help amplify our content. But there are lots of great film reviews and stuff. Ike also chops up these games for you guys offensively. So if you want to go back and see every single Auburn score offensively, we post that to the channel as well. Nobody else really doing that in the Auburn sphere, but the War Report is doing it for you guys. So come on over to YouTube, join as a member. We appreciate you guys for helping us grow our community over there on YouTube. We love when you guys watch on Twitter. We do that to make sure that we meet you where you're at, but we really want you to come on over to YouTube here and commune with us. I want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank our friends at Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates. Scan the QR code on the screen to get your complimentary fiduciary advice. They are financial fiduciaries, meaning they are bound by law to do what is in your best interest here. But whether you're planning for retirement or just wanting to know how you can better run your business and plan for the long-term health of your business and your employees, Abel's Iannone, Moore and Associates has you covered. You can call them at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMA.com today. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's Iannone, Moore and Associates for this endorsement. Abel's Iannone, Moore and Associates is a SEC registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training.
And guys, before you get out of here, please smash that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel, guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us, and definitely check in with us throughout the week as we'll be dropping content on multiple Auburn sports. Switching back to football, obviously Auburn returns this week with Mercer. Definitely check us out in the morning with content there, as well as the midweek report. We'll see you guys until then. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. War Eagle.